Consultants, SNK. It's a packed 420 seconds, so going to go quick. Our project, the brief given by the client, TCS, was to develop a knowledge hub in the fast-growing business ecosystem of Indore that would nurture young talent and support inclusive growth. The 100-acre site is located on the main arterial road, MR10, connecting Indore city to its airport. The land was flat with few trees, nor any significant context. So as we learnt in our studio, we've always been taught to tread the land lightly. So we decided to move geographically outwards and see what was around the city. And of course, we came across the beautiful Narmada River, the east-west flowing river, also known as Reva. So this really gave us a sense of context of how we could pull that in. We then had to understand the client of Indian origin, a powerful player in the IT and business sector, and wanted to carry their business into the future. So taking the play on those words, Indian, powerful, future, we decided to see how that juxtaposes with the river. Certainly a very strong Indian river, immense power, and of course always the future for the country through progress. So the river really gives people a source of soul in a sense. And it took us back to the most beautiful Narmada, the endower of bliss. And as they say that you attain salvation by bathing in the Ganga, you attain it merely by seeing the Narmada. The lives of the people of the region revolve around the river, and Narmada is the cycle of life. And so we understood the geographical flow of the Narmada, right from the upper course to the middle course to the lower course. The upper course in the Amarkantak hills starting there, moving down to the Jabalpur sharp rocks that are very gorge-like in the middle course, and then in the lower course opening up into the delta, into the Gulf of Khambar. And likewise, architecturally, we understood kunds and pavilions in that upper course representing those temples, the sharp, jagged walls representing the marble rocks, and the mounds and the landscape representing the lower course. We also didn't want to do one large, connected, huge structure. It can be very overwhelming. Understanding scale, understanding modularity, and really going back into the journey of the person using the campus. And as you can see here, the upper section of the upper course, the middle course, and the lower course buildings that come to life. There were several layerings that we had to take care of, whether it was wayfinding, security, sustainability, landscape. And as we went into the distinctive courses, you can see the upper course, the three distinctive buildings centered around a kund. Each one is modular, but even though they're similar, they're played in different directions to keep it interesting, and that central river spine coming to life. You then had the middle course with their sculptural, fragmented, and planned in close proximity with each other to depict the gorge-like marble rocks. And then we had sensory buildings such as the MPH, the multi-purpose hall, the business centers, that also had to be connected to these buildings through landscape, through connections of verticality and architecture vocabulary. And finally, we had the lower course. These had a pivoted plan form, and the scale of the structures changes to open up like the Gulf of Khambar. Within each building, as you can see, the service core was taken in the center to ensure that there was good light coming in for all the BPO and IT workers. Again here, a central structural core with two wings. And finally, that lower core playing that large arm allowed us to open the landscape through. Sustainability and landscape remained a very important part of it. It incorporates several green concepts such as zero discharge with 100% recycling of sewage, energy efficiency systems, solar of course on all the terraces, rainwater harvesting, and a very integrated BMS system. The interiors were certainly an extension of the landscape. Color was introduced to highlight breakout spaces and to enhance the double height portals on the architectural features. Introduction of local arts and crafts was a very important part of this project and continued throughout. So looking at the build form in 3 dimensions, ensuring the landscape work as we went through those marble rocks and the hardscape and opening up into that delta. And this is 10, 12 completed pictures of the project, that portal entrance at 18 meters, looking through to the multi-purpose, floating on that body of water, a clean language, architecture language, and that central spine of landscape running through. Covered walkways were a very important part to ensure protection during the heat and the rain when required, and a balance between hardscape and landscape, and a recessed ground floor. We only put glazing on that section, so even at night it looks like the buildings are floating on the landscape. Being inspired by Narmada's geography and nature, bringing it in choosing vegetation very carefully. As you can see, even the benches in the foreground were designed to be an extension of the architecture vocabulary, containing the sources of water. Even the water bodies empty look as good as when they're full, and of course ending in that amphitheatre, a very vibrant part of the campus. We also wanted to pay tribute today, which was very important, to the people who built this campus. It is not just us alone. It was an incredibly large project, 1 million square feet across 5 years, and it takes a team of people to do a project like this. Watching it really from ground up, understanding each building and its detailed design, the complexity of structure and construction was breathtaking. The detailing, ensuring what we had designed was executed on site. This is just one morning meeting, so it goes to show you how many people it takes to do a project like this. And finally, the people who built it, the labor, who come every day and watch it grow, that we look after them on the labor camps, that we take care of them and make sure they can work. And every morning, they come with pride to the site to build for you. And then scale. Even though it's 1 million square feet and it will accommodate 15,000 engineers, that there's always intimate courtyards, that the trees will grow big and one day represent the architecture. The client shared with us a short film made by them. It was so important for us to see how people reacted to the space and how it continued to evolve each day. It was tremendous for us to see the pride with which they tell the story of their river campus, that it was with a sense of ownership, as they are the true stakeholders of the project. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being taking less than 7 minutes. Okay, I have taken a boat ride from Jabalpur to Maheshwari, so I can relate with that experience. However, for you, the river is a metaphor.
Yes.
Even though the title says campus by the river, it is not by the river.
Yes.
It's further away from the river. How far it is?
It's about a 4-hour drive, sir, so looking at it geographically.
That's quite.
Yes.
So it's a question of taking something as an inspiration,
yes,
and recreating that, or representing that,
yes,
on a completely virgin site. Now, in that case, the elements that are chosen in terms of these 3 categories of upper level, middle level, and lower level may represent literally the experiences that happens while you go through that. The marble cliffs is a relatively short treatment. In addition to that inspiration, it is also a workspace. And like I mentioned it with other projects also, while focusing on that issue of representing something abstract, there is nothing about how the inside of that workspace represents this large community of very intelligent, very dedicated workforce that you have, how they interact.
yes.
And they're extremely under extreme pressure to do some work.
Yes.
And the whole industry, IT industry is like that. So, can you talk about the insights?
Yes, absolutely. So we had a short film which I'd love to show you, which allows us to show the inside, because it was security that we couldn't show some of the inside footage of how it works. But you're absolutely right. It is so essential to understand how the people inside react to the space. And if we can just quickly play it, it will give you a sense. The volume is key because Sir will have to hear what they're saying. So I know
It's not what the people say. I would like
Yes.
to have seen even before they occupied,
Yes.
how architecturally,
Yes.
the large number of people,
Yes.
broken down the number of teams,
Yes.
how they interrelate. Is there an architectural response to that?
Yes, sir. So what we did was, if you looked at some of the detailed plans that we had, when we went down to macro scale, we went down to doing lighting charrettes, grouping charrettes, we worked with TCS to understand how they work within their IT and BPO sectors. For example, they feel very overwhelmed after they worked on the computer for a long period of time. So we actually had several breakout spaces, both in the greenery section and indoor-outdoor spaces where they could come out. So this was a very essential part of the design, and we see it being utilized here. We had a lot of breakout spaces for them with regard to health. The TCS chairman at the time was very keen that health be introduced within the entire campus. So we actually had markers both in signage and within the entire building facade to track people as they went across the campus. So there's a question of physical health, mental health, working systems, down to the agile systems of the breakout spaces. We use many open plan offices but also dynamic furniture, because they don't just sit at their stations, they work in smaller groups. As you can see, they're using agile boards which can be moved around to different sections, as you can see over here. So the lighting had to be very general. So their working style has evolved greatly across the IT sectors. We had many pop-up digital scales, as you can see as well, pop-up digital screens, tremendous amount of natural light, and a lot of learning went outside into the greenery. So that was another thing they asked.
Environment to create is rather stark. It doesn't have the mellowness and softness of the river. Even the landscape, there's a lot of hard landscape. Or, the trees are in a rather, like, even in your video visuals, they don't seem to have a great presence. Not in the current state, but even in the visuals. So I'm just wondering whether the metaphor has really come to fruition, because like in these visuals, you see a rather stark atmosphere. That's one question. Second, there was a graphic right at the start where you showed some of the urban blocks around the plan. Is there any connection of the buildings or of this movement part to the patterns in the urban context?
Yes.
Two different questions.
Very great question, sir. The first was the part of the landscape. It's with the master plan, we're looking at a 10-year plan for the entire landscape. And when we approach the 100 acres, we've actually only used 60 acres, out of which our ground coverage is only 10%. So we're very low on the ground coverage. Some of the trees that we're planting are going to take time. As I said, you can see they're going to take about 5-6 years to grow. But we're also growing an entire forest across the remaining 40 acres. So considering we started with a real brownfield site and nothing there, I think we have to, hopefully that time will tell that presence of suddenly an ecosystem forming. We're hoping it will bring different ecosystems, different maybe birds coming, butterflies eventually. And we always said it's okay if they hide our buildings. Eventually you want that ecosystem to take over. So I think I'm hoping if we're patient, and I hope to show you a few pictures in 5-6 years where that forest comes to life. When it comes to the building orientations, very much they were thought through. We had to work very closely with the client. For example, they needed 2 cafeterias on 2 completely different ends to cater to such a huge campus. The proximity of, say, the multi-purpose hall to some of the IT sections and the entrances was key. So the entire flow, even though we started quite conceptually, it took us quite a lot of discussion and debate very closely with the client to ensure functionality was key, walking distance and time was minimal, but yet there was no compromise in the larger design.
So I have just one, maybe an abstract question. The question will always be abstract. It's in fact a continuation of what he said, that perhaps there's a typology which IT has created, which means that so many people have to sit and in a block, and these blocks are kind of becoming quite faceless across the country. I mean, it's a thought. Now, so let's say it's a very powerful influence of the Narmada and the flow of the river. But finally, has it resulted in a kind of constriction where there are buildings on either side looking at each other? There is, and they are basically, again, an extension of the morphology of IT buildings. Instead, just for the sake of argument, there were numerous courtyards, the spaces were humanized, and these buildings just look like blocks, you know. And, you know, so I'm not saying we could have done away with the Narmada, no need, but how these spaces intrude in and actually form, if you say Narmada, there is a ghat. Now, that ghat and how it moves beyond, you know, there is also a language, there is a synthesis. So somehow you find that there is a morphology here, okay, but then you just have blocks facing each other with the poetry of the river, which is you know, a metaphor. So do you think that somewhere,
Yeah, I think, sir, a couple of important things you brought up. I think with IT blocks, yes, we do work within it. We have tight budgets. We built this entire campus in 3,700 rupees a square foot. You know, it's a challenge, and I think that's one of the biggest challenge Indian architects have today. How do you build well, but still within really tight budgets? What we've tried to do is do what you're saying in several ways. One is through color and arts and crafts. We've done that, and as you go inside, you have this complete stark of this white and green and landscape into this color sensibility, which really percolates inside. And we've done arts and crafts from all over India, because that's where all the IT engineers and BPO engineers come from. So really bringing that sense of warmth, as you're saying, inside as well. If you look at our detailed design with the landscape, there are a lot of small courts, breakout spaces. There is the long spine that has this very strong river metaphor. But we have tried to create smaller areas, as you've defined, the best way possible, which I showed you through some of the stills, where a group of 5-6 engineers can go just plug into the Wi-Fi and have a small conversation. So those are certainly things I think we are working on, especially in a big campus, and we're watching how people evolve and use it. So it's learning for us.
I'm going to follow up with a little comment.
Yes, sir.
You have taken river as a point of departure and reduced the river to a street. We have in our country a tremendous tradition of water architecture, which includes, and in that particular stretch of the river, there are series of ghats that talk about how buildings relate with the river, which is different than how they relate with street and city. Is your way of going from your central spine, street, whatever it is, does not reflect that in terms of how buildings come and meet that central spine. And there is a possibility, you have a tremendous opportunity to develop an architectural language that talks about, and that actually converts the street into a river. River of people going back and forth.
So I hope you'll see that river of people when it's occupied. We have a good 15,000, but I will certainly, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate all the feedback, and we'll certainly use it moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.